This is the first of many hearings on Russia, and I look forward to future hearings once the administration has put in place senior level officials at the State Department, and thank you to the witnesses. It is my hope also, as we've heard, that this committee will take the initiative and mark up the Secure Our Democracy Act and Protect Our Democracy Act to get to the bottom of Russian interference in U.S. elections and prevent future actions. Members on both sides of the aisle have acknowledged Russia's use of disinformation campaigns to hack and disrupt elections. Professional-looking programming on channels like RT complement disinformation efforts to promote the reiteration effect. Taken together, Russian propaganda is blended into infotainment with reality talk shows that either twist or invent facts and parallel it with media stories to create the impression of popular support. Putin has surrounded himself with oligarchs and used the government to protect and enrich those loyal to him. Oligarchs have used the courts to paint unflattering stories such as fake news. Most recently, and excuse all of my pronunciations, oil baron Igor Sechin, the CEO of Rosneft, who has a close personal relationship with Secretary Tillerson, filed lawsuit over unflattering stories about media outlets that will still retain some freedom and objectivity, like RBK and Vaidamosti. Delegitimizing establishing news sources and promoting propaganda media has created an environment where news outlets fear speaking truth to power in the service of the Kremlin. I think some may see troubling parallels between the Kremlin's media distrust and what we're seeing from the current Trump administration. Ambassador Baer, over the weekend we saw reports that President Trump was in a rage, that the Attorney General recused himself from Russian interference investigations. On Saturday morning, President Trump sent a series of, in my opinion, irrational tweets accusing President Obama of wiretapping him with no evidence. It seems that the closer we get to tying the president to Russia, the more erratic, illogical, and defensive he becomes to change the news cycles. You've worked with foreign governments, friends, and adversaries alike. What sort of message does it send when the president lashes out like this after he reads something that he doesn't like about himself or his inner circle? Put simply, can the leader of the nation that engages in disinformation campaigns and speaks out against the free press in his or her nation be taken credibly by our foreign counterparts, or by their foreign counterparts?
I think that question probably is best answered by our foreign colleagues and partners. I think without commenting on the specific incidents that you mentioned, which I think gave a lot of people reason for concern, I think to state it in the affirmative, I think it is fundamentally important that the leader of the United States recognizes that being leader of the free world is not some added task that gets put on the side. It is a distinct honor of being the President of the United States of America that we are seen as representing something around the world. Ronald Reagan was referenced earlier today, and certainly Reagan was one who communicated and understood this as well as anyone. And so I think, to state it affirmatively, it is incumbent upon the occupier of that office to carry her or himself in a way that represents American values and American principles for the world in a compelling way. And I think any incumbent of that office should be always thinking about that.
I don't know if any of the other witnesses have a comment on what effect you think this is having.
I'll just make a personal comment, if I may. The United States, for the last two presidents, has had someone who wasn't predicted to win, who came from the outside, who resonated with the American people and who won the election. They were not establishment figures. They were not the lead candidate. And by the way, the day we see that in Moscow or Tehran or Beijing will be a great day for the world, because those are one-party systems that are never going to give it up and are really punishing their own people to stay in power. So you're not getting somebody who's spent years and years and years practicing being a Washington lead politician. I think I worked for Presidents Reagan and both Bush presidencies. They were attacked very strongly. You'll never hear me criticize the oversight and checks and balances process. That's what makes us strong, stronger than anyone. So have at it, but recognize that at the end of the day, we need an executive branch that can perform Article II powers and that can do what it is authorized to do to achieve strategic goals in the world. That's the bottom line.
My time's up.
Well, we go to Brandon Boyle of Pennsylvania.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and the Ranking Member Engel for